Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So the market's closing in 10 minutes, a little bit of an earlier video, but there's not much I think that'll change in the last 10 minutes. So let's get into it. If you guys enjoy the video, as usual, don't forget to hit that like button. Tesla ending the day pretty much flat, sitting probably around at close $308 to $309, give or take, which again is flat, just slightly red. So the reason I didn't upload yesterday, by the way, was because I got home a few hours after the market closed. So I figured it was kind of just too late at that point. There was no point really to say much, but I figured you guys probably should have had a decent idea as to what I was going to say. And pretty much roughly what happened today was exactly what I actually expected to happen, because we did break out of this, little trend that we were in. It was a little bull flag. So ignore this one for now. Ignore these two for now. Sorry, not those two, just these, and ignore this longer part, right? But we were essentially in this little like arguable bull flag that we broke out, retested, and then we ran up to the major resistance, which we did get slapped back down at. This is the level I've been calling for a while, that that we definitely have a chance to see, like a pretty likely chance. And we saw it, right? We got right to it, 312, 313. I actually got a put that I already exited. I got a put up here and I exited around 308 or something like that. Pretty much where we are right now, maybe slightly lower, but made about like 7% on that, not too bad. But the reason I exited is because tomorrow is a very important day, guys. Tomorrow is a Wednesday, right? But not because it's a Wednesday, but because tomorrow is the day the Fed is going to tell us essentially how much they're going to be hiking rates by, right? So the market, I believe, is currently majorly pricing in, I believe, is a 3/4 hike, so 0.75 basis points or 75 basis points or 0.75%. I believe of a hike. So if we get anything higher than that, that's not great. It's hard to say, like, what if it's just 0.75, then what happens, right? It's hard to say. But ultimately, I'm sure you guys understand my current stance, right? My current stance on the overall market is still net bearish. Now, the reason I exited is because a lot of the times what happens, or tends to happen, is after the Fed releases their statements, the market tends to rally for that same day and the remainder of that day fairly aggressively sometimes too, actually. Which wouldn't surprise me that the SPY would potentially rally over here and honestly maybe get to like 390, maybe even 400 or 393, maybe even as high as almost 400, right? I don't think it'll get that high, but it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. From here, that'll be a 3% move, right? It's not impossible, let's just say that. And the reason I exited is because, well, if that were to happen, then I can re-enter the puts on Tesla if it gets back up to this level, or potentially even as high as like somewhere around 313, which is, sorry, 317-ish, 318, 317, which is like the ultimate level where I would be like legitimately, genuinely, extremely shocked if it breaks through and holds, because that is the ultimate resistance. That should be like the big daddy resistance, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? So I would be genuinely surprised if it breaks past this level, breaks past this overall major red line resistance, and especially right above it's at 325 being this major resistance and support that existed before as well. Like that, it just feels like it's an absolute enormous like Mount Everest ahead of it, so we have to climb over. And I just genuinely, especially after this much green candle, I genuinely don't believe it's gonna happen. I really strongly do not. Not financial advice, make your own decisions, whatever. So all that being said and done, guys, pretty much the way I see it is now we're pretty much sitting at a triple top, 1, 2, 3, pretty much at the exact same level, give or take like a point or two. You can even potentially call it a quad top if you want to count this one back here as well, right? So that's something else that makes it even worse, honestly. That's not a good thing, let's just say that. And it's also not a good thing that we have this situation here, mainly because this shows overall weakness that you can't really argue. Because if it was like, let's say this didn't exist and we kind of hugged around this line and then rallied up, then you can make an argument that it's setting up a potential bullish pattern where it's making higher lows while the highs are staying the same, which is technically a bullish position or a pattern. But because we have this, it does kind of give it a lot more weakness in the like ultimate time frame, right? And again, the way I view, guys, is still I still view it as like a kind of like a general like major double top, right? Where essentially as we rally from here, we have rally up, get an overall top over here, get an overall move to the downside, go back up, get an overall top at the exact same level once again, which is a double top, and then we come back down all the way over here. Now, how do you justify this pattern? What makes this pattern, like, what gives it validity, if that makes sense, right? What truly like makes this pattern execute and do its thing? If we ever lose this level right here, the bottom of the middle of the M, essentially, which is this level right around here. So if we ever lose this range right here, which is between like 273 to like 265, like that massive range, essentially is like extremely vital that it holds. I do strongly believe that we might potentially come back down there. I really don't think that won't happen. Some people were saying that we have a potential inverse head and shoulders setting up over here, being this left shoulder, this, and then potentially setting up the right shoulder here. Again, not because I'm biased to the downside, but I don't give this validity because this to me only works in a downtrend. Now, sure, we are in an ultimate downtrend, you know, of course, but this is a micro pattern, right? This is happening on a micro time scale, which on the micro time scale, Tesla is in an uptrend, right? This little short time frame, because ever since we came from here to here, right now we are in this little micro uptrend, right? That we are currently right here in. So to me, this doesn't really work because this is a reversal from a bearish to a bullish position. Currently, we are in a micro bullish position, and this is a micro pattern. That's why I don't personally give this too much validity. Again, you know, and I did mention this before, on the bright side, however, if you're a bull, there is an actual macro, which is like a longer overall time frame, or a longer time frame viewpoint, if you will, inverted head and shoulders that is setting up. I've mentioned this before, but it's something like this that could be setting up right here. Right now, this would make sense because this is a macro bullish head and shoulders pattern potentially setting up, which would mean Tesla would most likely come back down to somewhere around 250, give or take. And it needs to hold there, actually, if you want this pattern to actually hold any validity as well. And then we could potentially bounce off of that. So that is technically a possibility because that is happening in the overall downtrend, which makes sense, at least to me, right? That's the way I view it. Again, that's just my opinion, not financial advice. I could be completely wrong, you know, make your own decisions. But as of right now, on this micro trend, I personally believe that because we are on a macro downtrend and the micro is currently bullish, but we are in a bullish situation setting up a bearish pattern, which is a sign of a reversal in the micro and the shorter time frame, being this double top I just showed you. I personally see that executing, and I do see that actually most likely happening. On top of that, on the super micro time frame, on like the 15-minute chart, maybe even the 5-minute chart, I also believe we're setting up a bearish head and shoulders as well, where this is potentially the head, this is potentially like the shoulder pretty much on this general level, and then this general level right here will be the right shoulder. And then once we lose essentially 305-ish, that's when this pattern can execute as well. But that's like on a shorter time frame. Pretty much what you want to be looking at and paying attention to right now is this little uptrend that we are currently in, right? And the key levels I would pay attention to make it extremely simple. If you want to make it like as simple as possible, if you lose 300, in my opinion, that's going to start getting ugly. And especially the most important level, in my opinion, that Tesla wants to hold throughout like essentially this week and next week is going to be like 295-ish, this red line right here. Because in my opinion, this right here was pretty lucky that it rallied back up just through it again. But if we lose this one more time, in my opinion, that's really bad. And I think that's really going to be quite bearish as well. So we have like a bearish pattern setting up. We have, you know, a double top, potentially a triple top setting up over here. We're losing the, you know, overall uptrend. We're losing the uptrend here. We'll lose the uptrend here. And it'll just scream bearishness, right? And considering Tesla has actually shown a lot of strength recently compared to like SPY or QQQ that have been kind of, you know, more visibly trending downwards, while Tesla is not as visibly trending downwards in that kind of same time frame. It's definitely showing substantial strength relative to the market. Sometimes when Tesla does this, once it finally caves in, it caves in extremely fast. And it's almost like all the moves that it was ignoring, that was the market was doing, but Tesla wasn't, kind of happens in just like a snap of a finger. I have seen this happen before. Just a friendly warning. It might not happen. I'm not saying it will, but I just would not be surprised if it does. And we get like an extremely ugly red candle, similar to what essentially happened like here or like, you know, here. Like these just really, really hideous candles that just like brutal candles that just plummet us down, right? I'm just saying that is definitely a possibility. You just take it as well. Could not happen, of course, at all. But the point is the fact that, in my opinion, we are ultimately setting up bearish patterns. I personally think the risk versus reward for bulls here is atrociously bad, mainly because, in my opinion, the best case scenario, realistically, is to revisit 312 and potentially as high as like 318. That's like the realistic, almost best case scenario. The realistic best case scenario that I would be surprised if we even do, honestly, is going to be this 325. So the risk versus reward, in my opinion, is not very high for bulls here, because I think there's a lot more downside than there is upside, but that's just my opinion, of course, right? So let me know what you guys think down below. My current plan is as follows. If the market rallies after the Fed releases their minutes tomorrow, I'll be most likely entering some more puts, right? Right now I have no positions. I mean, the one position I have is I have 100 shares and I have a sold call against it for end of October. That's pretty much the only position I have, just that 100 shares with that sold call against those shares. And that's it. The rest of my portfolio is all cash. And if we rally, I will go ahead and do that, what I just mentioned, the market, the close, Tesla pretty much ending flat, like I said, but I will be entering more puts around this level right here. This kind of like 312 to like 318-ish level is my range to buy puts. And my stop would be 325. If it passes 325, that'll be my stop. And on top of that, if we don't rally and we just completely plummet from there, that's okay with me as well. I can finally start entering my sold puts positions, which is going to be a bullish position on some juicy red that I'm very much anticipating, but we'll see, of course, right? That's just my opinion, guys. Again, you know, take it as you will, do what you want. But again, when you see this much green, even though technically like today wasn't a green day, but it's a green candle, when you see Tesla showing this much strength, having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 green candles out of 11 within the past 11 trading days, clearly, compared to like the SPY or something like that, obviously nowhere near the same, right? Something to consider. That's all I'm going to say. But all of that being said and done, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think down below. I think we're in for a wild the rest of this week. I'm excited personally. I really can't wait. I love volatility, especially because I'm all cash. So I really just couldn't care less. I'm just all cash, right? So I'm ready to play the trend. You know, I'm ready to play what happens and what's given to me. And I'm excited. I really am. I do think we're getting some sweet opportunities very soon. And all I have to say is I'm excited for those opportunities. But that's it for the video, guys. Let me know what you think down below. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.